The Misfits card is crazy. Now let's review the first fight. Chase Demore versus Temple Arts. Now you might know Chase Demore from this clip right here.
Chin down, break your knees. I like that. Oh boy. Oh my goodness gracious.
Now this guy obviously has smoke with the air, and he lost that fight against Josh Brockner. But then he came back and fought Stevie Knight and knocked him out cold, but then got disqualified for punching him while he was on the ground. Now his most recent fight against Alan Belcher, it was a disappointment just because it was a late notice for him. He only had a week or two to actually get prepared, in which he gassed out and did absolutely terrible. Now Temple Arts, we only seen him perform once, and he absolutely dominated that fight. He has a lot of gas, he has a lot of skills, and he's very fast as well. For his size, I'm actually very surprised for his gas tank and for the speed that he has. Now, who do I have for this fight winning? I have Temple Arts just because he has more of a gas tank and he's way quicker, has more skills than Chase Demore. Obviously, Chase Demore has more experience, but I don't think that really matters because we've seen him gas out every single fight. So again, I have Temple Arts winning this fight.
Winterson Nunez versus my mate Nate. Well, let's talk about Winterson Nunez. On his first fight on Kingpin, he fought a supposedly MMA fighter, and he absolutely dominated this MMA fighter. He dropped him 3 times, and then it was over. So it was a clear win for Winterson Nunez. And now, his second fight, he ended up fighting King Kenny. In this fight, King Kenny was obviously the dominant one. He was so confident, fighting with his hands down, even trolling Winterson Nunez, and dropped him in the second round. It was clear after that who was going to win that fight, and King Kenny ended up beating Winterson Nunez. But let me tell you guys something. My mate Nate also fought King Kenny on his first and only fight on Kingpin, and guess what happened? In the second round, King Kenny drops him. Okay, next thing you know, he drops him again, and the ref calls it off. So they both fought King Kenny, but Winterson Nunez lasted more rounds, and he lasted actually all the rounds against King Kenny. On the other hand, my mate Nate didn't. So if we're taking this into account, it's clear that my mate Nate doesn't stand a chance against Winterson Nunez, and I'm calling it. I think Winterson Nunez is going to knock him out.
Now the next fight, King Kenny versus Anthony Taylor. Now King Kenny is the most overrated guy in influencer boxing. This guy, every single time he fights a good fighter, he loses. Let me give you an example. When he fought Sensei, he got absolutely embarrassed, almost getting knocked down in the early rounds.
We've got Fierce Sensei going with that lead left hook. Oh, what a shot with the overhand right!
King Kenny backed up again.
And there's a standing count from the referee.
Now, again, he got embarrassed in one of his most recent fights before the Kingpin against Ashley, which he didn't even throw a punch. I don't know if he was scared, but Ashley absolutely destroyed him.
One for Roxon. He won the first round.
Roxon's putting the pressure on Kenny right now.
He is strong, guys.
Now, I don't even want to talk about King Kenny's performance in Kingpin because he fought nobodies. Who the fuck is Winterson Nunez? Who knows anything about his past in boxing? Who's my mate Nate? That looks like the softest suburban white guy I've ever seen. So again, I don't know why everybody's hyping up King Kenny, but he has nothing in his resume. Now let's talk about Anthony Taylor. I'm going to keep it brief with Anthony Taylor. He's a pro boxer. He beat Saul Poppy. I'm going to leave it at that because I don't even think King Kenny could beat Saul Poppy. And Anthony Taylor beat Saul Poppy. So just do the math there. Okay, King Kenny's about to get slapped by Anthony Taylor.
Dean the Great versus Wally. Well, let's go over their first fight. Wally ended up dropping Dean the Great 3 times.
Hey, both these guys look like pitchers. That is a knockdown. That is a right hand. Big left down, and that sits him down. Oh my God! Not over yet. Got him again.
Whereas Dean the Great only dropped him once, and here's where it gets controversial because Wally, when he got dropped, he stood up and he turned his back against the ref. So this made the ref seem like, you know what, he doesn't want to fight anymore. He can't handle it, and the ref called it off. So obviously this was very controversial. In my opinion, if he dropped him 3 times, and if he was to continue with the same speed and the same power and the same momentum throughout the whole fight, I think he would have easily beat Dean the Great, maybe not by knockout, but by decision. And here's the thing, Wally's recent fight, he ended up dropping his opponent twice and won the fight by TKO.
Pop is, that's where you got to figure out. Oh, that sends him down. Long time to go.
Uh-oh, Pat.
Oh,
Dean the Great, on the other hand, his recent fight, he fought a nobody and it went to the judges. He did drop him once, but it went to the judges. So this goes to show that Dean the Great has no power and can't finish his opponents as Wally can. So in my opinion, I think Wally is going to beat Dean the Great by TKO.